All right. I think we're live. I hope we are. Here we go. 1 second while I get this set up. Welcome to this week's Q&A call. While I'm getting set up, feel free to type any questions you have in the chat and I will answer them. Hold on 1 second. What's up, Vic Cuts? Welcome. This is our Q&A call for this week. What's up, Kevin Berry Beauty? There you go. All right, we got some people joining. You got Next Barbershop joined. What's up, Janet? All right. This seems like a better time. A lot of people joining. Is this a better time to join instead of 11 a.m.? I figured it was. I'm testing different times. What's up, man? Well, or sorry, I don't know if you're. I saw Kevin. I assumed you're a man. Avil joined. Welcome. All right. So this isn't going to be a short call today. I'm going for about 30 minutes. So yeah, I remember you. Of course, I remember you. Yeah. So it's 5 o'clock my time. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm gonna go till about 5:30. Maybe a little later. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I saw that. Good job getting your reviews up. Proud of you. Keep going. The thing with reviews is you want to be first. You want to get some going, and then you want to eventually be at the top, right, in the city. Like, so no one else even comes close. Like, that's the idea, right? And I can promise you that if you're even close to the top in terms of having the most reviews on Google, getting new clients won't be as much of a problem, right? Because it's free, right? So a lot of people talk about ads. I talk about ads, but I mean, man, what if you could get clients for free? It just like takes time, right? What's up, Johnny's Barbershop, Joni's. Welcome to the Q&A call. Some of you guys don't know who I am, so I'll just introduce myself. My name's Alex Jaramillo. I'm the owner of House of Shaves Barbershop. I'm in Jacksonville. We have 2 locations. We do millions of dollars a year in revenue. I do these Q&A calls once a week for everybody because not all of you guys can afford to be in my mentorship, but if you can, hey, hit me up. But if not, that's why I do these calls. Plus, I get content out of it, which I will repost later, so that's also what I get out of it. So I'm just here to help you guys because this is the kind of stuff that I wish that I had when I was getting started. And I don't claim to be like the best at what I do. I just want to give back, right? So that's what I'm here for today. So if you have any questions, anything barber related, type them in the chat and I will try to answer them as fast as I can. So we got a few people joining us. Welcome. I'm also streaming on YouTube and I think Facebook as well. So yeah, it's a little weird because if I move off to the side like this, I might get cut off from Instagram, but on YouTube, they can see everything. And there's a huge delay on Instagram too. So just be mindful of that. So if I don't answer your question right away, it's just like there's a huge delay on my side. All right. Where are you guys joining from, by the way? Let me know. Put your city, your state in the chat, just so I can start to get an idea of like what are the best times to do these calls, right? It helps me out, right? Because I don't know. Like I try to guess and I try to work around like what's convenient for me. And if you're watching the playback of this, it still helps to let me know these things in the comments if you're not watching this live, because I need the more feedback I get, the better I can serve you guys. Douglasville, all right, East Coast, Indio, California. So that's West Coast, so that's like the middle of the day over there for you, man. I appreciate you joining me in the middle of your day. This is kind of towards the end of my day. All right, I'm working from home today, so. You guys have any questions? Any barber stuff? If not, I'll start going through some of the questions that came up in our barber community recently. If you guys don't know, I have a free community. It's on a platform called School. It's not a school. It's on a platform called School. And if you want the link to that, it's in the bio of all of my profiles, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're watching this. If you go to my bio, there should be a link to join my free community. It is actually 100% free. It's not like a free trial or anything. It's free, right? I do have a pay group if you want to even more help, but if you want to join in the free group, that's 100% free. It's always going to be free. All right. Hold on. I got a question here from Avili. Sorry if am I saying that right? Ahalvi. I got to get better at this pronouncing names things. All right. So we got a question here. So what can I do to build clientele? Been cutting at the shop for over a while now. I truly believe that it's location. Should I go with a better location? Well, that would be the easiest thing to do, for sure. Because I could also say, well, you could run ads. You can build up your reputation on Google. You can DM clients. You can pass out business cards. You can run Google ads. There's a lot you can do to build clientele, but nothing's going to be faster than just going to a busier barbershop, right? It's the easy, and that's the main benefit of working for somebody else and for not being the owner, really, because as an owner, like I can't just leave if it doesn't work out, but you can, you know? So yeah, I mean, that would be my advice, man. How many haircuts a day would you say you're doing right now? Just roughly, and probably different every day, but that will give me an idea of like how busy you are. But that is the easiest thing to do, like by far. Just instead of trying to learn the skill of marketing, you can just find a barbershop where the owner is already good at marketing, and then you could just show up and cut hair, right? Simple. That's what I did. You know, I didn't know anything about marketing when I started. I was still trying to learn how to cut hair. So, you know, that's a whole other skill in itself, and arguably it takes much longer to learn how to become a skilled marketer versus cutting hair. That's my argument, at least. But when I started, I tried to find the busiest barbershop that I could, and that's what I keep recommending to every new barber out there, because it's the easiest way to grow your income. Just find a busier barbershop. No matter where you go, there's going to be a building phase, right? But like starting at a barbershop where it's like, you know, booth rent and the owner doesn't promote at all, you got no reputation online, gonna be way harder. Even if you're a really good barber, it's just gonna take you longer to get to where you need to be or where you want to be, income wise. Whereas if you go to somewhere that's busier, you're just starting out higher, right? So I think that in some ways, finding a right barbershop to work at is almost like finding a business partner, right? Even though you're not truly partners, it's like this person ideally has a certain set of skills, and then you have your skills, and the combination is what leads to growth for their business and for you and your income. So I would recommend at least looking at other barbershops in your area that were busier. And typically the way you find a busy barbershop is by 4 to 6 cuts a week. Okay. So that's like one a day. Like, yeah, bro. Sorry, I'm assuming you're a male barber, but if you're not, I'm sorry. But yeah, you need to be doing more. You need to be doing like 4 to 6 a day. You know, when I started, I was pretty slow, like anybody that's starting, you know. And I was doing like hour-long haircuts, 45 maybe on a good day. And I was doing like 10, 15 haircuts a day to start, you know. And then as I got faster, it became like 20, 25. So that's why I had this belief, and I may be wrong. Who cares if I'm wrong, right? I don't care. I had this belief that there's a lot of barbers out there that are on commission that are making more than a lot of barbers that are on booth rent. That's my belief. I keep forgetting to scroll down. Gosh. So if I don't see your comment, it could be that I literally just haven't scrolled down yet. What's up, Lineup Limas, Mr. 904, Director P Rod? Welcome. Yeah, man, you got it. Yeah, so 4 to 6 cuts, I think, a day should be. I wouldn't settle for less than that, because you're probably making less than minimum wage. You might even, in a booth rent shop, there's actually a video on my YouTube channel where I kind of break down commission versus booth rent versus hourly. More for the barbers too, less for barbershop owners. But yeah, if you're doing like if you're making like less than 100 to 200, you can do the math too. You can take however much revenue you made that week, divide it by how many hours you were in the shop, and if it's less than minimum wage, then you're probably would be better served going to like a franchise. Like a Supercuts, Sport Clips. There's big chain barbershops out there now too, like Boardroom, Hammer, Nail. I mean, there's a lot now, but all of them you'd probably make a lot more being on commission than being where you're at now, or even hourly, right? So that's the thing, is like everybody gets paid hourly. Everybody. It's just a question of how variable is your hourly. If you're on booth rent or commission, then your hourly is constantly going up and down. I cover this in the video. The link to my YouTube channel is in my bio if you're curious, but booth rent is the only system that I'm aware of where it's possible to go negative in your earnings. It's kind of like being an owner, right? Like it's possible to lose money opening a business because your expenses are higher than your revenue. It's the same thing with booth rent. Where the owner is taking their cut, right? And you might actually end up negative for that week or for that month or whatever. Whereas commission, it's less variable, and the lowest you can make in a lot of commission setups is 0, right? So you could be at the shop all day and not do a single haircut, and you made 0, but you didn't lose anything, right? Because you didn't owe the owner anything. You only pay the owner if you end up doing a haircut, right? Whereas booth rent, you owe that fixed cost no matter what. And then hourly is even less variable than the other two structures, because you'll never go less than if you're an employee, you'll never go less than minimum wage. So that's why I said do the math, right? If you're making less than minimum wage, then you want to just go to like a franchise, because you'll make more money there and you'll get the practice you need. And if you build up your clientele, maybe you can take them with you to somewhere that has higher earning potential, or you could just find other ways to make more money, right? Because there's other ways to make more money, guys, besides just hopping around different barbershops. Like in the long term, you'd probably make more if you just stayed in one place, or you can like invest in some real estate. You can invest in some stocks. You can, I don't know. You can only, as a barber, there's only a handful of ways that you can make more money. You either sell more time or sell your time for more, but they're both related to time. So eventually you run out of time, right? And you can keep raising your prices if you want, but my question is, what happens when you can't cut hair anymore? Then what? Some of you guys are probably started at the very beginning of your barber journey, so maybe you're not even thinking about this yet, but I think you should be, because if you talk to any owner or any retirement planner, they're going to tell you to start thinking about your retirement like when you're in your 20s, right? Because the earlier you start, the more you have time working in your favor rather than working against you. So there's other ways to make more money besides just cutting more hair or constantly raising your prices. That's actually what a big part of what I focus on in my shop, is that there's a lot of ways that I've created that have nothing to do with cutting hair to make more money. So for example, we pay commission on product sales. We pay commission on membership sales. We pay retention bonuses now to the barbers that have high retention, because I would definitely want to reward that behavior. What else do we do? We do, did I say commission on membership sales? Product commission, membership commission, retention bonuses, and there's probably more. Probably more. We do bonuses on feedback, client feedback. Most of the things I've created in the last couple years as ways for barbers to earn more have nothing to do with cutting hair, because I don't believe that cutting hair is super profitable. You know, it makes up the majority of our revenue as a barbershop. But I'm constantly trying to find new ways to make more money that have nothing to do with cutting hair, because I started thinking about this during COVID. If you guys have a question, by the way, feel free to interrupt my rant here. But I learned this lesson during COVID, which we had to shut down, like every barbershop did, because of COVID. And I hated that. I hated that we're so vulnerable as an industry to the government saying you're allowed to do business or not. And I thought, what if there was a way that we can make money that had nothing to do with cutting hair? So I would challenge you guys to start thinking about that stuff for your own shop. How can you make money without cutting hair? And if you can really figure that out, then it's just making your business more secure, right? Because it's like, in theory, like one of my goals is to build up our like our YouTube channel and our content in general to the point where it's producing enough revenue so we actually make more money off of the haircuts than off the content than the actual haircut, right? So at that point, it's like we're more of a media company now, right? And we don't even really have to cut hair. We don't have to charge for it, essentially, because we're making more off the content. And a lot of people do this. This is not like an original idea, right? But I think you should have more than one way of making money. Not in the beginning, but you need to start thinking about it now. I think you should definitely focus on the main thing right now, but always be thinking about, I heard somewhere, and I like this saying because this is kind of where I live, but the CEO's job is to think about the business today, but also be planning about the business of tomorrow. Something along those lines is what I heard. So I'm trying to grow the business today, for sure. That's the main focus. But I'm also thinking about, what's the business going to look like a few years from now? 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I don't know, maybe barbers won't be a thing in 20 years. Maybe we'll all be replaced by AI. What do you guys think? Do you think barbers will ever be replaced by AI? Would you let a robot cut your hair? I think I would. I wouldn't be first in line. Every client that I've talked to says the same thing. But I think that one thing that I can say for sure is that humans are really bad at predicting the future. So we'll see. That's one of my favorite sayings. It's like, when people ask me something, like, I don't know. We'll see. Are you guys enjoying my rant? Because I'm not seeing any questions coming in. So I'm assuming you guys are digging this, right? So let me see if I can go through the community. If you guys are just joining now for the first time, I have a free barber community called the Barber Mastermind, and it's in the link in my bio. And that's where basically me and almost 3,000 other barbers just network, ask questions, bounce ideas off of each other, and there's literally no reason to not be in it. But hey, you know, if the time it takes, the 2 minutes that it takes to create an account and join for free is too much, then I get it. Like, keep doing what you're doing now. All right. So I'm looking through the community, see if we got any questions here. So, did you guys have an issue with your Google reviews recently? I know we did, but that's been resolved. Like, some of our reviews were disappearing. But, well, they weren't disappearing, they just weren't being counted. But Google fixed it, so don't worry about it. It's been fixed, at least on our side, right? I don't know about everybody else, but like, I was freaking out for a little bit because we had the most reviews in the entire city, and then all of a sudden we didn't. And I was like, what the hell? But it just kind of proved my point that like even with 100 of our reviews disappearing, we were still like at the very top, right? So you want to have a ton of reviews and also as insurance, because if you get a bad one, which you will at some point, it's like no big deal. Yeah, Vital Cuts. Yeah. Are they back now? Yeah, you got them back. Okay. Yeah, that sucks, man. I hate it. But you're kind of vulnerable to these platforms and glitches and things like that. But luckily, it was temporary. Sorry, I missed this question, Kevin. But do you accept cash payments or clients pay up front when they make an appointment online? That's a great question. I actually think that it depends. So we do take, actually, we don't take cash anymore. Technically, that's what we say, right? We're technically cashless. I think we're one of the first barbershops in our area for sure, probably in the country, to be like cashless. Like we take only cards. And now if somebody has, that's all they got, then I'll take it. But we say we don't take cash, right? So we have experimented with having clients pay up front, but that has caused problems. So if I was going to make clients pay up front, I would make them pay like a small deposit. So that's typically what we do when no-shows start to get bad. So I started tracking our no-show rate like a few years ago, or it was last year. And because I wanted to get an idea of like, where is our no-show rate? Like, where's the baseline? So then we can start to get an idea of like, well, what can we do to lower it? So far, nothing that we've found is more effective than just being proactive with the, oh, if I move it in the middle of the screen, then you guys can actually see the question, maybe, I don't know. But being proactive. So we send three reminders with every appointment. We send a 1 week reminder, a 24-hour, and a 2-hour. Okay, so that's the most, and then if they don't confirm, because our system asks them to confirm, we then start texting them, or again, or calling them. And we may even start like double booking people, because that sucks when people don't show up. Like, it's just really rude and disrespectful. So what we're gonna do is probably start double booking people, and we even, our system has the ability to block people. Like you can't book appointments online anymore. Like you've lost that privilege, right? I just did that to somebody today. Like somebody that's, I don't know, it's like 10 cancellations in a row or something. You know, I'm like, I'm just gonna block you because you shouldn't be wasting our time like this. Like, you can call, but so I don't, but it depends on the no-show rate. Okay, so if you're not tracking your no-show rate, I would try to start tracking it, because one thing that that I think about when it comes to no-shows is they're also not equally distributed. Like, it's typically the newer barbers, maybe the barbers that aren't that great, that have more no-shows, typically, in my experience. The barbers that have the highest retention almost always have the lowest no-show rate. There's definitely a relationship there, because the way I think about it is regardless of what you do, whether it's deposits, cards on file, you're rebooking people, you're sending reminders, people have to want to come back. If they don't want to come back, it doesn't matter what you do. They're not going to come back. Because I can tell you that even when we were charging deposits, we still had no shows, which is crazy to me. So there's nothing you can do to eliminate that number. It will never become zero. Not in my experience. It will never be zero. You can just try to reduce that number to the lowest possible point. So we track our no-show rate, and if it gets above a certain point, that's when we start to think about, okay, maybe we do need to start putting a card on file. Maybe we do need to do deposits. But me personally, if I was going to do one tactic out of all the things I mentioned, it would be charging deposits. The reason why is because if you just do cards on file, your clients can go on there, freeze their card, and now you can't charge it. Did you know that? Well, I know because I've done it, right? I went to go charge people and they froze their card. And I was like, motherfucker, you know? Another thing, let's say the charge does go through, right? They can dispute it. So now, and just so you guys know, if you've never had somebody dispute your charge, this is what happens. Your payment processor tells you, your so-and-so disputed the charge. You have this many days to submit evidence, and then we'll let you know. 9 out of every 10 times we challenge a dispute, we lose. So not only do you have to give the money back, but in our case, you have to then pay a chargeback fee on top of that. So I'm like, okay, so cards on file doesn't really make sense to me anymore because people can freeze their card, and they will dispute, in some cases, they will dispute the charge. So then I'm just gonna be like, what's even more effective than that? What if we just made people pay upfront? So I can tell you that when I did the deposits, it was usually like, you can make it a percentage of the service. You can make it the full price. You could just make it a really small, like $5 or something. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I don't like doing the full price up front, just because it makes checkout more complicated. And yeah, so I do like 5, 10 flat fee of either $5 or $10, and they pay that up front when they're booking. And what I do is, like, if they no show or cancel, I just hold the deposit because I don't want to get a charge back. And then when they come back, I'll apply it to their next visit. You can keep it if you want. That's just what I do, right? And I didn't have a single chargeback when I was doing deposits. And in my experience, if you're comparing cards on file to deposits more effective at preventing no-shows. Sorry, that was a long answer, but that was and so that's kind of, I hope that answers your question about, do we charge for no-shows now? No. We would just keep their deposit, essentially, right? So that's what I would do. If I was going to go for no-shows, if I was really trying to reduce no-shows, which we always are, I focus more on the proactive part, like, how do we prevent this, rather than, like, trying to clean up the mess after. I would just do deposits. It's also nice for cash flow deposits because, hey, you're getting paid and you haven't even done the work yet, right? It's almost like having a membership, but without having a membership. So Vital Cuts wants to know, how do you track your KPI? So our system tracks almost everything. And everything that our system doesn't track, I have a spreadsheet for. So does that answer that? So you have to use the right system, first of all. A lot of the stuff that I talk about on these calls, in my content, would be impossible without the right system, without the right software. So I use Zenoti, Zenoti. I haven't found a software that's better, and I don't get paid to promote them. That's just what I use. And it tracks everything. That was one of the main reasons why I went with them. So, and anything that's not tracked in there, I have a spreadsheet for, because there is some stuff it doesn't track, but I have a spreadsheet for that. So between my spreadsheets and my software, I have a really, really good idea of where my business is at. So hopefully that answers your question, Vital Cuts. But hey, I'm glad that you are. That's a great question though to ask, because it shows me that, like, yeah, I think it's hard to grow a business without knowing the numbers. Do you have your own shop? How do you run your business? Asking because Vegas slowed down. I want to know how you're running, if you can share. So yes, I do have my own shop. We've been open since 2015. I have 2 locations. We're doing a few $1 million in revenue. And can you be more clear about what you want to know about how we're running? So I'll just share what I assume you're asking, which is, everybody's an employee. They get hourly or commission, whichever's higher, and they work 4 days a week. They make somewhere between $50,000 to $75,000 to start. Some people make more, and we're pretty busy. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But if you have a more, if you want to dive more into that, we can. I also have a free community where we can talk about stuff like this. It's in the links in my bio. So yes, if they don't show up, we keep the deposit. Well, we will just apply it to their next visit. That's what I do because I've learned the hard way that it's short term versus long term, Kevin. Like it's in the short term, it makes sense to punish that behavior and to charge them, right? But in the long term, you might end up losing all these clients, right? So I'm a lot more, that's probably the biggest shift that I've had in the last few years as far as like how I run the business and how I think about things. I'm willing to make a short-term sacrifice for the long-term benefit. So no, I don't keep the deposit. And we don't charge cards on file right now. But I am documenting this process of me building my little barbershop empire. So there's a very real possibility that I could change. I was just testing deposits this morning. So just know that like I have the same concerns, right? But I focus a lot more energy on being proactive. And I also think a lot more about what's the long-term effect of this decision, you know? And chances are I'm not going to do anything that's going to hurt our client retention in the long term. So hopefully that helps you. All right, Vital Cuts wants to know, I got a time for or technically overtime. I'll go like 5 more minutes. What do you think is better? What do you think of Vagaro and how is Zenati better? Well, I don't know anything about Vagaro other than what I can see from the outside, but this is how I chose my system. I actually had this whole checklist, right? But what I did was, because my goal is to grow the shop to many dozens of locations, right? So what I did was I looked at what are the biggest barbershop chains using, and I saw that a lot of them were using Zenoti, so that's what I went with. I also wanted a system that can do memberships, have our own app. I wanted it to be able to track everything. I wanted a marketing platform built in so I didn't have to worry about that. So it was all automated. I wanted AI in there. So I don't know if Vagaro has that stuff, but I don't have an issue with Vagaro. I think it's definitely, one of the top 5 softwares out there based on what I've seen. The key is just like, you want a system that fits your goals. Like for me, Zenoti was the one that fit what I wanted to track and what I wanted to do with my shop. What is it called? It's called Zenoti, Zenoti. I think it's made for like multi-location. You might be able to do a single location, but it's definitely made more for like people that have employees or independent contractors. I think is fine too, but it's definitely not probably if you're by yourself. So you rent booths or you do commission. So we're basically commission. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but yeah, it's not booth rent, that's for sure. So yeah, we're commission based. Our memberships more percent than individual. What do you mean? Do you mean the barber? Do barbers get a higher percent from the individual haircuts if they're on a membership? I'll tell you the way we set up our membership because it might answer your question. So our normal haircut price is $45, and right now the membership is $35 a month. So clients save quite a bit of money if they're on the membership. But the way I set it up was because I wanted the barbers to push the membership, and I didn't want there to be anything that was conflicting with that. So the barbers, if it doesn't matter whether they're checking out a regular client at full price or somebody that has a membership, they get paid as if it was a full price haircut. And as a barbershop, we make more money in the long term because the membership is a retention strategy. So people will come back longer, and that's where we make our money back. So a walk-in versus membership. I still don't understand the question, Kevin. But everybody pays the same price. We don't have a different price for walk-ins. We don't have a different price for appointments. We don't have a different price for kids. It's, if the haircut takes 30 minutes, it's $45. The only time you're going to get a discount is if you have a membership. That's it. All right, I think that's all the questions I have, or that's all the time I have for you guys today. If you want to interact more with me, I have a free group called the Barber Mastermind. The link's in my bio. If not, see you next time. Talk to you later.